The kind of person makes friends easily.
Well, it depends on the person, I would say.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're here with the great drummer Billy Hart, who is going to be performing tonight at the live. I forgot the name of the place. Live from the Falcon in Marlboro, New York. So you mentioned earlier that this venue is new to you. How did you happen to be here tonight?
We've just recorded, just released a new CD, and so it's just happened to be one of the few venues that would take us on such short notice.
On such short notice. Well, you said you were coming from Cleveland. You started your day in Cleveland today?
Yes.
So were you playing there yesterday maybe?
Not performing, but I'm on the faculty at Oberlin College.
Oh, I didn't put that together. Okay, all right. So tell us about your new release.
Well, it's on a European label called ECM, and it's this quartet, which is Mark Turner and Ben Street and Ethan Iverson, and it sort of really captures the way we create the music, and so I guess we're relatively pleased with it.
Yeah, you sound pretty modest when you say that. I'm looking forward to tonight's performance, but can you give us a little hint about what the music is going to be like? Are you going to be playing the music from your new release?
Yes, of course. That's the whole point of being here, even though I'm exhausted.
Well, I promise not to keep you long. But now tell us about your quartet, the musicians that you're playing with tonight. You've been working with them for a little while now.
Yes, we have.
Yeah?
Yeah, they sort of adopted me. You know, I'm a little older than they are, and one by one they all seem to, to like being around. So I got a little gig one day, and they got a gig, and then they called me, and then I got a gig, and I called them, and once I called them for my gig, they said, well, it's now your band.
Oh, is that how it sort of evolved to the Billy Hart Quartet?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fairly serendipitous.
Well, I don't know what that means, but...
Well, how would you describe the music that you're playing these days?
Well, it's a reflection of us. I think of those guys as some of the best of the contemporary musicians. And I think of myself as a lover of that kind of music, based on the fact that I played with contemporary musicians of my age, which you might have known some of them. You know, McCoy Tyner and Herbie Hancock and Sonny Fortune and Billy Harper, and so, and I love, I sort of belong to the Coltrane Church. I'm like that. I like that kind of music.
Yeah, yeah.
And so these guys are a reflection of that.
Yeah.
For me.
Uh-huh.
So I also like Cecil Taylor and Milford Graves and Odine Pope.
Right, who is in Philadelphia, of course. Now, we were talking earlier about your Washington, D.C. and your Philadelphia connection. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the artists that you played with I know you played with Buck Hill and Shirley Horn out of D.C.
Well, they both were my formative teachers, and in every sense of the word. Everything basically that I learned from them, because I absolutely knew nothing else before them. Buck Hill found me with drumsticks in my back pocket coming from a drum and bugle corps rehearsal, and gave me a Charlie Parker record. and that's the first time I ever heard that music.
I read that you used to really feel the music to such an extent that when you were first discovering like Charlie Parker, that it became like quite an obsession on some level.
Yes, it was. It still is. That's what happened.
So what's
and then I met Shirley Horn through Buck Hill.
Okay. Well, being from D.C., I know a bit about both of them and was really, blessed to see them perform live over the, many years ago. But do you see is there a through line from Buck Hill to this quartet of young musicians that you're playing with?
I guess you could say so. Buck obviously comes from that lineage of Lester Young through Charlie Parker, and that gave me a sense of history through him, and so by the time I actually tried to move to New York myself, I found I was much more able to survive than I had thought initially. I seemed to be more prepared because of my association with those guys. In other words, the lessons they taught me were on an even higher level than I had anticipated. So when I came to New York, I was accepted almost right away, where I get the feeling a lot of other people aren't accepted so quickly. And I can only say it's because of the lessons I got from Buck and Shirley.
Yeah. So you're teaching at Oberlin these days.
Yeah.
So how important is that to you to teach younger musicians?
Well, in this particular case, it became important because of the guy that hired me. The guy that hired me was a guy named Wendell Logan, and he was an extraordinary musician himself, a composer, and he'd won a few prizes, I think the Guggenheim and prizes like that, compositional prizes, and for what we sort of look at as European classical style music. And from that situation, not totally unlike, say, somebody like Wynton Marsalis, he was able to be accepted and was able to start a so-called jazz program based on the fact that he was so gifted in European classical concepts. So he started a jazz program totally with an Afrocentric viewpoint. So I can't think of the word. I was invited, but it was more chosen or something because of my, what can I say? I come out of the 60s with the so-called revolution or whatever. And so all my musics and all my concepts come from that. So it matched his concept. And when he found me, what do you have when you're called by somebody, called to serve or something?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I had, I was chosen.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing the quartet tonight, and I thank you for being so gracious as to give us some of your time. And I'm going to stop now and let you get some rest.
Okay, thank you.